Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all having a nice time. 27th of December today. Right, now I've been doing a bit of digging and I think I've come across a couple of little nuggets that I'd like to share with you. Firstly, I read an article this morning by Daniela Elsa, and you all know I'm quite a fan of her. She's got quite a spicy style. But there was something she said in that article and she was kind of summing things up. And I suddenly remembered something that I think all of us had overlooked. Well, I definitely did. And it's quite a startling revelation. Right, I'm going to start off with cast your minds back to before the Oprah interview, and Valentine Lowe did the article that there were allegations of bullying. Now, in response to that, this is the official response from Meghan and her team. Let's just call this what it is, a calculated smear campaign based on misleading and harmful misinformation. We are disappointed to see this defamatory portrayal of the Duchess of Sussex given credibility by a media outlet. The Duchess is saddened by this latest attack on her character, particularly as someone who has been the target of bullying herself and is deeply committed to supporting those who have experienced pain and trauma. Now, if you really examine that in a legal way, it's kind of ambiguous. It's not a flat-out denial, is it? But on the face of it, it looks like it's absolute bullshit. Not a word of truth in it, doesn't it? I mean, that's how I interpret it. That's how it came across at the time. This is just a smear campaign because she's about to give a tell-all interview to Oprah Winfrey, right? Now, I'm going to read you something else where it would appear that the allegations are true. Well, I'll let you decide for yourselves. It says, it didn't help that everyone was working around the clock. There were so many demands from the press, such a constant stream of errors that needed clearing up, and we didn't have nearly enough people or resources. At best, we were able to address 10% of what was out there. Nerves were shattering, people were sniping. In such a climate, there was no such thing as constructive criticism. All feedback was seen as an affront. An insult. More than one staff member slumped across their desk and wept. That is in black and white, in spare. Bit of a contrast, isn't it? More than one member of staff slumped across their desk and wept. As opposed to, let's just call it what it is, a calculated smear campaign. That I see as a bit of a Freudian slip, don't you? In fact, I mean, a lot of people said to me, don't buy the book, don't give him your money. But I wanted this book as a historical record because the way I see this is a statement by Harry. These are his words. He wrote this book. That's what he said. He wants everybody to read it. And so to me, this is the Bible of what Harry's version was at the moment that this was printed. And I believe there are a lot of gold nuggets like this in this book. I mean, I've found others today. It's really quite surprising. And so I've got a copy of this as a historical record to nail him down on what he said. And I've equally got her statement, which is on the internet, of what she and her people said about the idea of bullying allegations. So she's giving the impression, what a load of nonsense, there's not a word of truth in it. And he says people broke down in tears. He says a lot of other stuff in there. He says stuff about how caring Meghan is and how she had ice cream parties and cakes and pizza and wrote love notes and thank you notes and all this stuff. So then I looked up Ninaki Priddy, her best friend of 35 odd years, who back in 2017 gave an interview to the Daily Mail in which she said, Meghan could be cold, calculating, ruthless, that she was a hustler. And what I want to do, because you all know that story, but what I'd like to do, and I will put a link in the description to this particular article, just get the date of it first. This was published on the 1st of December 2017. And then it was updated on the 2nd of December 2017. There are 3,300 comments. Now, Meghan and Harry have said the racist British public have always been against them. They've just got engaged. They're not married yet. So I'm going to read you a few of the top best comments. What a friend who totally sold her out. So that's clearly in Meghan's favour. That is the top comment with 6,879 likes. The British public were on her side. What Ninaki Priddy said was pretty damning. So it just goes to demonstrate what a small community we were back in the day. All you guys and us and Wally, Taz and Murky, remember all that? And we were called bigots and racists and trolls and blah, blah, blah. And the community has grown and grown and grown and grown, hasn't it? And anybody with our sort of thoughts of, I don't know, maybe this best friend knows something. Maybe we should listen to what this best friend is saying. Perhaps she knows her. She says that Meghan really hurt Trevor, that Trevor was successful, that Meghan married him, you know, because he was successful. And when her career wasn't working, or she got the suits thing, which I don't suppose Trevor helped her with, that it was Trevor flying to Toronto to be with her, Trevor working remotely, not her flying back the other way. There's a lot in this article, link in description. The second one is, and this is interesting, where someone is taking heed. Yeah, this story, I believe, calculating, fiercely ambitious, and her eye on the main chance. 6,514 likes. But the next one, personally, I wouldn't be very happy if my childhood friend decided to tell everyone this, with 4,523 likes. So the majority of the British public loved Meghan. They were completely on her side. There was absolutely nothing. What's Harry talking about in his court cases and in this book, saying that the British public hated her? I mean, the Daily Mail is an excellent barometer for taking the temperature of the British public. They have a very good comments section, which other newspapers don't have. Let's put aside whether a newspaper's left or right. Daily Mail, it's very easy to set up an account. And even if you don't want to, you can give a green tick up or a red tick down without an account. And so you can see immediately it's an instant poll on every article. It's very clever that they do that. And Harry and Meghan complaining and complaining back in the day. I mean, it's in this book. I've just read it. As he says, he didn't have enough resources. He didn't have enough people. There were so many inaccuracies out there. Inaccuracies he complains about in this book is, for example, Meghan has morning sickness. No, she didn't. She was tired, but she didn't have morning sickness. So fucking what, Harry? You were even complaining about little itty titty ditty bitty bits like that, you fool. Look how he's ruined his life. Now I get to the big gold nugget. As you all know, my hobby is studying PR and how the newspapers work, having featured in them myself in the past. Now, a couple of things. Firstly, I wanted to find the historical articles about, well, back in 2019, I remember there was an article. I can't remember if it was the Express or the Daily Mail, and it's really hard to find now because it's been drowned out by a lot of other stuff. But there was an article saying William had been rumoured to go storming over to, I don't know if it was Knockcott or Frogmore, to have it out with Harry. Sources told this newspaper. Now, I remember this. And Katie Nicholl said, no truth in it at all. No truth that Kate and Meghan don't like each other. In fact, Meghan goes over to Kate all the time. I'll put a link in the description because I've found some Katie Nicholl. No, they're best friends. Meghan loves Kate. Oh, they get on so well. Really? Really? That's what your source said? Who was your source? I mean, someone insane, because there's quite a different version in this. I think this book is going to come back to haunt Harry very, very badly. Now, my biggest nugget is an article in the Daily Star. Bear with me. It's all about a psychic and their predictions. We see them every year, don't we? What's next year? What does the future hold? What's going to happen next year? They're always full of things like there'll be a plane crash, there'll be an earthquake, royals going to die, and all this sort of stuff. But this one pricked my attention because this psychic says there's heartache ahead for Meghan because a recording is going to come to light. Now, that could just be a psychic talking shit, or it could be newspaper editors, yum, 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 are ready for the moment. And they're just, here it comes, here it comes. I'll put a link in the description to that one as well. There'll be a lot of links on this, and you tell me what you think. But I found the prediction particularly interesting, especially as I remember distinctly there being rumours going around for years that members of staff at Buckingham Palace had videoed things on their phones and recorded stuff of potential kickoffs, tantrums, and I've often said that until the general public get to see or hear, I mean, let's go into Fiona's hypothetical world for a moment. Imagine there is a recording of, say, Melissa Tubati being absolutely roasted in a very nasty, bitchy, bully way by Meghan, and that were to make it out onto the public domain. Game over. Finish. Finish. It's finished. It's over. Innit? Talk about a Jimmy Savile moment. So have a look at all the links. Bear in mind these are only my thoughts and opinions, and I could be completely offbeat. I've also got to mention Rishi Sunak. Because, yeah, I thought it was hilarious. But the biggest thing for me now is, this is a Prime Minister of the United Kingdom taking the piss out of Harry in a Christmas video from number 10 Downing Street. I've never heard of that before. That is how low Harry is right now. Laughing stock. Of course, Sunak could always say, oh, I wasn't talking about Prince Harry. I was talking about Harry Enfield. Or I was talking about Harry Smith, who happens to live next door to me. Or I just plucked the name Harry out of the air. I don't think so, Rishi. I don't think so. So, yeah, as the new year rolls on and approaches, I wonder if that psychic prediction could have any truth in it. As always, thank you very much for listening.